Hi guys, it's Nathan from Headbangers here. Today we're doing our January bangers. Very heavy death metal list, I will warn you, but if you like your death metal, you'll appreciate it. But yeah, we talk about, releases from January. Been a good month really. Can't complain. It's been a good start to the year. So yeah, that's the episode for today. By the way, whilst I've got you, if you like the podcast and you want to support us, we've got Patreon. And if you want to leave a like and subscribe, that'd be appreciated too. As well, leave us a rating on the not social media platforms. What am I saying? On streaming platforms, because it really does help us out in the algorithm. And don't forget, head over to socials and give us a like and follow. Everywhere it's Headbangers Podcast, except for Twitter. That's Headbangers Pod One because the username was already taken. But yeah, without any further ado, please check out the interview now.
Hi, welcome back to the Headbangers podcast. We're your hosts, Nathan and Brad. Today, I think we've missed quite a few months, but oh well, it was holiday season and it's January, a lot of things to catch up on. But we have the January bangers now. New year, fresh year, new bands coming out, new songs coming out. I gotta say, it's off to a great start. We've had some ones returning from bands that we love, also from new bands that are absolutely smashing it. What do you think about January, Nathan,
I
for
think
heavy music?
so far, some good shit has been released in January. Death metal releases this month has been fucking good as well.
Oh yeah, this gets better and better, death metal, doesn't it?
Yeah, death metal releases have been good. I've noticed quite a few albums, but there's been like just I don't know it because normally bands would miss January as a release time. Bands do normally miss January, and it's more normally March where we tend to see this. But
Yeah,
now everyone's kind of just dropping everything now.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's been a very packed month, which is surprising, for some great singles. Nathan, kick us off with your first choice.
Oh, this is in no, but well, oh, the top one on my list is actually my favorite, so I might leave that till last.
It's not in order, by the way. Let's pick whatever you want.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, my first one is Sanguista Bog.
Sanguisuga Bob, mate. You
Sanguisuga
literate
Bog,
fuck.
mate, mate. It's a hard name. I've spelled it that many times. My phone actually autocorrects it now, so I don't have to keep going to the fucking Spotify to get the spelling.
That's what you need.
But yeah, my first one is Sanguisuga Bog. Face ripped off. What a fucking banger of a track.
Absolutely.
Like, what a fucking mate. The riffs in it are fucking face rippers themselves. Like, music video, you know, it's a bit like
Probably one of the most disgusting thing I've seen, but
but yeah, I mean,
it's death metal. But you know what to expect.
yeah, I mean, honestly, but that track is fucking amazing. Like, it's got fucking what's he called?
Aaron Head.
Aaron Hurd from fucking Jesus Piece featuring as well, which I didn't know which section he featured in.
I
Which
had to
feel
watch the
like,
music video to
yeah,
see it.
and I feel like it's a compliment to his vocals because like it kind of blurs into that death metal fucking vocal line that Devon from Sanguisuga Bog has. But mate, straight off the bat when it kicks in, it's like and it's like
Dun, dun, dun,
fucking
dun, dun,
the
dun, dun.
fucking bell, the fucking bell. They knew, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
that's my favorite thing about Sanguisuga Bob. It's like the drumming, like because it's so distinct. Like it's every time he hits, it's just like it overpowers everything, but in the great way. Like sometimes, there's bands that have tried that, not to name a few, but and when the drums have not been exactly right and you can hear everything. But I think it works for Sanguisuga Bob because they've got this primitive, raw death metal sound. And I honestly think that they're one of the most interesting bands in the whole genre right now. And they're not even
mate,
like trying to, go too wild with it. Like they strip everything down to its bare minimals. And I think that's why they're so great and amazing
it's
live too.
it's just pure unadulterated caveman riffs. Every
Mm.
fucking riff they ever make you can mosh to. There's
It's
no there's
groovy.
and groove it, yeah. That's what's weird about it. It's like this is hard, but it's also like got a bit of a flow to it. But yeah, what a fucking track as well. Like they obviously they released more like earlier on in January, and each one of them like they released two other tracks. Each fucking one of them were bangers as well. Just
Oh
off
yeah.
the I listened to it. I was like, this is fucking. This is all I need. And I've been
Yeah.
listening to it like every day since it's been released. Just
And
like it's such.
what
Go
more
on.
to put a nail in what we say about, hardcore and death metal kids together than having Aaron Hurd and Sanguisuga Bob together, and it just proves how much better is it? You know what I mean? Salt on your chips. Just
Yeah,
adds a little more
I
flavor.
don't. I honestly don't get the people that are like, I don't like the new wave of death metal. It was better than. Fuck you.
It's not, it's
How can
heavier.
you listen to it and go, yeah, no, I don't like this. Like, if you're a fan of death metal, like, I fucking love this shit, me. Like, the new death metal that's coming out, I love it. The old death metal that came out, fucking love it too. Like, it's just like, it feels like we're going through another resurgence, just like how we fucking did in the 90s. And we've said it a million times before, but we'll say it again. It's a fucking great time for death metal. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like, we've been truly in January, specifically with death metal tracks. But honestly, this fucking track, man. Oh, oh, it's so
Yeah.
fucking good. Just
Beautiful.
so good.
Beautiful.
It's hard to describe how good it is.
Yeah, just listen to it. I mean, if Sanguisuga were about on your radar, then please check them out. My next one, if we're on the death metal train, is a band called Conjureth, A Blood Romance. Now, I kind of like just discovered these quite recently. I didn't really know anything about them. But I honestly, the reason why I checked them out is because I thought the artwork was sick. Like, I loved like the sort of like toxic waste, like spreading like oil painting type thing. I don't know if I'm describing it well. As you can see, I mean, I've been to the Louvre. I don't understand art, but I
Yeah,
enjoyed this.
yeah.
I enjoyed this album cover a lot more than the
Your
Mona
take on the
Lisa.
Mona Lisa. Your fucking take. It's just a fucking painting. What is that? That's what you put in the group chat on it? It's just
Like
a
a
fucking
shit
painting.
A4 piece of paper. Yeah, shit.
Mate, it's one of the best pieces of art. The more you look at it, the more detail you realize.
Yeah, which is how I felt about Conjure.
The Louvre was wasted on you.
Yeah,
Fucking
fuck
Van
the
Gogh. You
Louvre.
don't even know how to draw a sunflower.
Yeah, fuck the Louvre, but I love Conjureth. Yeah, no, it was great to be honest. Like, as soon as it came on, I loved every minute of it. It's sort of like controlled chaos, like from start to finish, like it doesn't stop for a moment to catch a breath. It's one of those types because you've got like, the slow, doomy death metal, but then you've got like that sort of chaotic, so kind of cryptopsy style death metal, which I loved. It's very raw. The production is like kind of primitive as well, but in a good way. And I think
Mm,
it just wraps everything together in a nice little bundle. So yeah,
yeah.
no, big fan of Conjureth.
When I was listening to it, there was like a lot of moments where because it starts off and you're like, oh, okay. And then it gets just progressively heavy and you're like, okay. Okay. It's like, you ever seen that it's like that TikTok thing, it's like that's enough. That's enough. That's enough slices.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I felt like when I was listening to it going, that's enough. That's enough. But it just slaps. It just keeps getting progressively harder and harder and harder and harder. I thought it was the technicality behind it as well was really interesting, but I also thought like the riffs were going mad, but they want like so to the point where it's like, yeah, now you're just kind of just making guitar porn for other guitarists.
yeah.
So
It could have been Riff
that's
Salad, but like it wasn't.
yeah,
And I think if anyone was going to listen to death metal and wanted to know how to do it without overdoing it, I think this would be Conjureth. Like, 'cause they just tread the line very thinly, but in a very
yeah.
good way. I think you've got to create chaos, and sometimes like death metal is not meant to be completely nice on the ears. Like it's got to kind of challenge you. And I think this is like a challenging song, but amazing at the same time. It just captures exactly what like that side of brutal death metal should be.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what I thought. I don't really normally like the ultra technical stuff, but I did actually really appreciate this because it did actually still strip it back, and it was still a song. Which is why I've always liked, like Archspire, because they
Yeah.
use the technical stuff and like still make a song out of it. And I got a vibe of Archspire in there in some cases when especially when they're doing like the trem pick sections,
Mm,
that's in the track. At
yeah.
least I think they're trend picking. I don't know fuck all about guitar, but it
Doing
sounded like they
summer.
were doing yeah, it sounded like they were doing no sweep picking, sweep picking. It sounded like they were doing some kind of sweep picking. But yeah, I really enjoyed the track. And for once I actually listened to every song you sent me. We didn't just
Yeah,
wing it.
listen to yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we've come
break it.
prepared today.
Yeah, we've come prepared. But
We
you know,
ain't
it was
messing about
actually
with jam bangers.
banger of a track. I was listening to it while I was cooking. It was really nice.
You just like
You know,
spill all your food everywhere. Like,
see, mate, the seasoning was all over the place. Just kind of like fucking
yeah,
throwing it in.
bits of glass in the bowl. You know,
Yeah, mate, I threw everything in there. Threw the entire cabinet in. Bits of MDF
throw
just
throw the
floating
dog in
about.
there.
Yeah, throw the dog in there. Fuck it. Um, but my next one is Sleep Token, Chokehold. Now they
Mm.
released that other track. I can't remember what it's called.
We've released three other tracks actually.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot, but I'm talking about
A
the
lot of
one that they
sleep
released.
talking.
The one that they released alongside this one, that has that kind of that funky ending.
Yeah, that was going to be my choice. But charcoal's also good.
But I preferred Chokehold, and you know what? I knew I said to Bangers and Mosh I was on a hater mode with metalcore, and that is still true. But Sleep Token gets the hard pass.
I don't know if even sleep talking classes battlecore. This is doing their
I
own thing
would
out there. Do
I would
you
class
reckon?
them. I would, yeah, I'd class them as metalcore. But like, you know what? I just love the hook in it. The vocals in it are just so like so fucking well done. Yeah, I mean, like all the little subtle things that he does with his voice throughout. It's just like it's kind of like a really relaxing song to like sort of listen to for me anyway.
Yeah, it's sort of like
Um,
hypnotizing. Like, it's like, I got you in a chokehold and it sort of repeats. And usually I don't like that, but I think with Sleep Talking, they've got this sort of mesmerizing way that they can hypnotize you in a way. And that's what I
the
liked about
piano,
it.
the
Yeah, the
piano work
piano.
in it was really fucking good. Like I loved the piano work in it, and that's why
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the summoning. The summoning is the other track.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's why I preferred it over the summoning. I didn't really like the funk bit at the end.
Oh, I did.
Like I know I here's the thing. I liked it, but I think it would have been better in another song because I
Mm.
thought the summoning was like a really heavy song for Sleep Token. Like it actually showed like some of his screaming, but then that bit, it felt like a bit that didn't have to be there for me.
It's interesting because,
I mean,
like, I don't know, I've got a totally different vibe about the summoning. I mean, that would be my choice for Sleep Token this month, and Sleep Token is also definitely one of my favorites. I think what I thought about it was, if someone was to like say, what does Sleep Token sound like? I think that song is like a trailer for them in a way. Like it starts off like very sort of somber,
mm,
typical Sleep Token build an atmosphere. Then you've got like the really fucking heavy bits, which is probably some of the heaviest they've gone, like, bar gods and shit like that. Like, the fucking riffs in there when it just picks up and gets heavier and heavier. Then you've got that sort of like elevator sounding lo-fi music. And then
mm,
it goes into like the funk at the end. I kind of liked it because it's sort of like an homage to everything that they've done. And it shows like this is who the band is. Like, they've got all these different sounds. And even just in the four singles that they released, they all sound super different. And that
yeah.
just shows how talented the band are.
I thought though the first two that released, this one and the summoning, were better than the other two, and I might get a
I'm
lot of
I'm
shit.
I'm a big fan of Aqua Riga, to be honest. Like the really like slow electronic one.
Mm,
Oh,
no,
dark and lovely.
I like I don't know, I don't really like that. I like slow when it comes to Doom, but like the more electronic stuff, I kind of like more fast paced. Um, but that's just my personal like preference. But yeah, no, I really liked Joe Cold. Like I just thought it was a
Yeah.
really solid song. Like, and again, my favorite part is the piano parts. Now it like sort of blends with his vocals really fucking well.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I liked as well. I think it's like quite near the start of the song when he does like a vocal line, but then he managed to pick it up an octave higher. And I was like, oh, I love it when he does that.
yeah, no, that was
Do it
really
again.
good. Do it
Yeah.
again. Do it.
Do it.
Do the what?
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm so excited for the new album. Like, I mean, say what you want about Sleep Token. I know that they've definitely turned some heads and they've definitely turned some heads away, what people think, but it's what's happened when a band gets bigger. People have got something to say, but you can't deny the talent, and his voice is
Mm.
just one of the best in music right now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I really love him. And a lot of people think that they're gonna have like sort of a moment. And I know Finn McKenty did a video on it,
Yeah,
and I
I
kind of
saw
agree
that.
with I agree with Finn. I think they are having a moment, but I think they need a little bit something else to have a full moment, like a Lorna Shore moment, where they blow up mass to a massive scale.
I don't think that it's going
Um,
to be that way for them because I think Lorna Shore is different because when To the Hellfire came out, that was like almost like vocals that we haven't heard before. Like he just took it to the next level. So I think the extreme part mixed with TikTok, mixed with going viral is what happened. Well, Sleep Token is sort of been progressively just getting bigger with every album. It's like a slow burner.
mm,
But it's going to be interesting. I definitely think that they're having a moment, and I think they continue to get bigger. I mean, like literally, they did a tour recently in the UK, sold it out almost instantly.
yeah,
Same with
yeah,
Spirit
yeah.
Box. They did like fucking Manchester Warehouse, and then they sold it out within 2 minutes.
I
Mental.
know. Was that the
How did you
gig
guess
you
that?
sent me? Because I wanted to go.
Yeah, it's gone.
Ah, fuck! It's sold out.
In it. Well good,
Oh,
mate.
I was only going to go for Spirit Box anyway, but
I don't know. I like Loaf and Brand of Sacrifice as well.
well, I said my opinion on the on Messenger, and nothing
I know.
bad. They're just not for me. They're not my cup of tea. Brand of
It's fair.
Sacrifice and Love. Not anymore anyway.
But
Uh,
speaking on the
yeah.
lines of dark and depressing music, we have Catatonia with Opaline. Honestly, I think it was like 2020 when I first heard City Burials, which is the previous album. And I never really listened to Catatonia much before. They're one of those bands, like I always remember when I was like listening to songs on YouTube, like when I was just getting into metal, there was always like Catatonia at the side and Insomnium and shit like that. All these bands that I always heard the name of, but never actually sat down and listened to them. But yeah, City Burials came out in 2020, and that was like the soundtrack to 2020 for me. Like, dark at home, lockdown, and it just captured this like atmospheric gothic sort of vibe. It's more chilled out. It wasn't like, too intense. So it's a nice breakaway from what I usually listen to. So obviously I had a lot of expectations coming into this album. And it doesn't quite hit as much as City Burials did, but I think if I just separate it from the album, because sometimes when a band releases an album that's going to be number one, there's not really much that's going to top it for you, especially if it's just the first time introducing to them. But yeah, I absolutely love this album, especially this song. Starts off with like some nice electronic sounds, building up that atmosphere, especially when you're like walking around town and everything's really gloomy. It just fits that vibe really well.
Mm.
Yeah, really enjoyed the whole thing. His vocal style in this, you know, it carries a lot and it's got a lot of different twists and turns. And that is a really great band to chill out to and sort of a fit for this sort of dark weather. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was quite proggy as well, and I've had like the same sort of feel with Catatonia.
Mm.
Like they've been that band where it's always been like, you like the YouTube algorithm's like, hey, you might like Catatonia, and I've always been like, what's that other video? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, and I've never really listened to them. I think this is the first Catatonia song I've actually ever listened to. I really liked it. Thought it was a really
Yeah.
good song. Thought it was solid. No, I liked it. It was very proggy, very interesting. Um, might make me listen to more Catatonia. Um,
Yeah, definitely. It's good if you want to chill out. So, I mean, some of the sections like it does go like not jazzy, but like it's got that sort of like lounge style to it, but like a dark lounge. It's hard to explain. I mean, Catatonia has always had their own like unique sound, and I have gone back and listened to some of their other catalog.
mm,
But I'm a big fan of like the new direction that they're going in. Like it's even more sort of dark and dismal and really cool. So yeah, I mean, definitely check out Catatonia. But if I'll be perfectly honest, I definitely would still recommend City Burials because that's just a fucking masterpiece of an album. Still got it on vinyl, still spin it all the time. And I will be seeing them on the 11th of February. So can't wait.
well, yeah, all you do is go see bands.
Yeah.
Honestly, every time I message you, "How's all you doing this weekend?" Seeing so and so. Like I do the
Yeah.
same.
I
I
think you
do the
got some
same.
more gigs than me, to be honest.
Yeah, I do actually.
That's not what you're on
Uh,
about. He was like,
yeah,
come to the gig at Boom.
yeah. No, it's I actually I do a daily check of Boom's events pages, and I'll just buy
Dedication.
tickets. No, I do. It's a genuine daily check. I go on Facebook, and it's the only thing I use Facebook for. I search Boom, go on events, and see what's going on. And if it's something on like if it's something last minute and it's like someone I want to go see, I'll just go that day.
Spontaneous. I like
Yeah,
it.
I like it,
What's
mate.
next for you then?
Um, my next one is Jesus Piece, Gates of Horn.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what. I tell you what. This album's hitting something different though. Don't feel like it. Don't. I mean, I know that we know there's an album coming. You know, they've
Yeah.
already released two tracks, but the two tracks are hitting something different.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not like other Jesus Piece. I mean, they are, but they aren't. You know what I mean? Like they have like a lot more to it. Music video for this is also really fucking interesting. Like Aaron Hurd and the fucking drummer doing like Krav Maga in slow motion. I thought it was a really interesting music video. I thought it was just something different.
Yeah, I
But
liked it.
yeah, fucking slaps. Just slaps. That's all I can say. Just absolutely fucking slaps. It's interesting, like new tones. I feel like they're leaning more towards like a metalcore sound in this
Yeah.
one. I
But like
sense
the
that.
like heavier side of metalcore, you know what I mean? Like kind
Yeah,
of not even like the old side, but there's like, at least now there's that branch of like heavier style metalcore stuff like Darko US and shit. But nah, I proper enjoyed the song, especially like it wastes absolutely zero time of getting into it. Like, as soon as you plug it in, it's like we're going.
yeah.
And the
I
breakdown in it, whoa,
mate, fucking, whoa, whoa. But no, like they're still a hardcore band, but I feel like they are putting some fucking elements in there like that. But yeah, not what I expected from Jesus Piece, if I'm honest. Like the two tracks have surprised me. Because
yeah,
I thought at this point I kind of know what Jesus Piece are gonna do. You know, like I thought, oh, it's gonna be kind of like this. It's gonna probably do this. And yeah, I've been very, very pleasantly surprised.
it's almost like
Like I said,
heavier, isn't it, than the previous
yeah,
stuff, and which is
it's
impressive.
it's heavier and it isn't. If you get what I mean, it's like heavier, but there's also some new tones that add an extra little tidbit to your music listening experience.
Yeah, it's a bit more not avant-garde, but it's a bit like even experimental, a tiny bit dark, but also like the heaviness is amped up to a million. So yeah, no, proper interested band for sure. Like they've got definitely got their own sort of formula for how they do things. And again, another awesome live band. Like when we saw them, like I knew they were going to be good, but like they proper throw me off guard of how amazing they actually were.
I
Like
was a fucking dick
what an
that night.
atmosphere.
I was a dick that night. I turned into such a bellend in that pit. Like I was such a bellend. I apologize to everyone that was there. I, it was just something about it. Just something
Yeah,
about it.
so
Fucking made
visceral and
some
raw.
kind of switch. Like, but yeah, no, amazing band live. Fucking, honestly, I'd see him again in like heartbeat. If they're like, yeah, it's 50 quid a ticket, I'm like, oh, paying that 50 quid.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. So next to me, the band I'm pretty sure if you're listening, you probably heard of before. It's Obituary with the song "The Wrong Time."
Never heard of
Like,
them.
who are they?
Who are they?
No, Obituary, like, they're a consistent band. They're like the AC/DC of metal. Like, you know what to
They are,
expect.
yeah.
It's a Obituary. But, like, when those fucking grimy riffs come in, those slow cooked riffs, like, oh, delicious.
Dude, oh wait, no, I'm about to do a riff, but I realized it's not a fucking obituary. It's similar, but I realized it was fucking fugitive. And it's like doom 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 doom. Oh no, I'm thinking about a song. No, mate, what a fucking album!
Oh,
What a
yeah.
fucking album! Honestly, I'll
Said it
listen to
right.
it. I'll listen to it, and I was like, oh, because I didn't have no fucking clue obituary or even release. They just kind of went, here it is. Like
Yeah.
they just didn't do any
Which is what,
promo for it. They're
which is
like, there
exactly
you
what
go.
exactly what you can do in it when you're Obituary. It's like, yeah, here's
Yeah.
an album. Know that you're gonna sell fucking tons of copies.
Well, I found it was a bit different to what I'm used to with obituary. It was kind of, it sounds like an insult, but I don't mean it as an insult. But it felt like Dad Rocky death metal.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
You know
but
what I mean?
it does it really well. And there's like some, especially in the wrong time, like I still have that like those choruses stuck in my head. They're saying "Diggity, diggity, diggity, the right
Mm,
mindset, diggity, diggity, diggity."
the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of love that about them in a way because like they make death metal hits, like stuff you can sing along to. Like
Yeah.
how iconic was the chopped in half or like more like chopped in. Oh, you know what I mean? It's more like how it is.
No, you know, it one of those as well where came out and I genuinely had no clue until like a mate like, have you listened to the new Betcha record? And I was like, huh? And it like, I was
Proper
like,
shocker.
it's fucking out. And I didn't even know they were fucking doing one. But yeah,
Oh man.
it was James. James was like, have you listened to the new obituary? I was like, there's a new obituary. He went, yeah. I was like, huh. And I fucking played it. I was like, yep, it's obituary. And it's
Yeah,
exactly what.
man. They just do everything right. Like they know how to make death metal for sure. I mean, they've been around since the 90s. They were there in the beginning. And it's good to know that they're still releasing like consistently great albums. So yeah,
Mm.
check out Wrong Time if you haven't. I'm sure you have. But yeah.
Well, not only that, not only that, the I hope they do some similar fucking tour that they did in the US. Did you see that fucking poster?
Oh yeah.
I
There's
was
them with
like,
like undeath
mate,
and shit.
yeah, I was there like, mate, fucking get me there. I, why does the States get better fucking way better lineups than we ever will?
Literally.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
so
like,
unfair.
I want to go to a show in the States. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
me
just
too.
fucking, I don't care how much it costs. There's just certain shows where I'll see the poster and I'm there like, get me a fucking flight. The
Absolutely, man. Yeah, what's next for you?
next one is a good bit of. This is been a very death metal heavy list, I've got to
Oh
say.
yeah.
I, but my next one is a good old Japanese death metal band called Cruelty with Burn the System. What a fucking banger. What a banger. I fucking love Cruelty. Got into them last year, because they had like a moment where they blew up in the hardcore scene. And what was weird, what got me into Cruelty, is that they did a hardcore show in the US, and they got like old school like death metal guys going no karate in the pit, and they tweeted out, guys, it finally happened with like a screenshot of the video and that comment. And I just thought, that's hilarious. Let me check out Cruelty. And I checked them out, fucking pleasantly surprised. This new track, they haven't released out in a little while. I say a little while, it's probably 2021. And they're like, that's a while ago. It's only 2 years. But they haven't released out really in like 2 years, I think. Just off the top of my head. That's not an exact number. But yeah, fucking, I really loved how raw it came across. Like what you were saying, it's kind of like Sanguisuga Bog in a way, where
Yeah.
it's not overproduced. It just doesn't stay its welcome. It just, comes in, you know, it's just
This is what it
brutal,
needs to do.
does what it needs to do, and then just leaves. And I really liked that about the track.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Actually, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, like I said, it is similar to Sanguisuga Bob in that way, like a very, very like caveman-esque, which I love. It's a sort of new school slash reminiscent of old death metal, but like with new flavors. And I really appreciated the vocals in this because, you know, it sort of reminded me a tiny bit of like Mikhail, like all bloodbath style in a way. Like, because it's
Yeah,
like that sort of overpoweringness of the instruments. Like, because sometimes, I've talked about it before. Like, I like the vocals to be just as powerful as the instruments, or if not, like a tiny bit more. Because I think like the vocals are like such a integral part of death metal. It's what makes it death metal in a way. Like, it's not just the instruments. So to have that as just as much of a force in the music as it is as the guitars and the drums, that's how I felt about Cruelty. And yeah, the whole song was just brutal from start to finish. Nice bits of tempo changes. It's not just one dimensional. Yeah, proper good track. Loved it.
yeah. And I just love how I also love how they just structure the riffs. Like
Yeah.
it does it each riff flows into the next really, really fluently. Um, like there's no bit where you're going, you didn't have to do that though, did you? Like
Yeah.
it's like everything's there for like a purpose. It's like it transitions well, and you're like, oh, okay, and it makes the entire thing just very much more like well put together. And I just thought, I hope this is them either releasing like raring up to release a new EP or like a new album. Because it'd be a shame if it was like a one-off because that song was a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I'd
excited
love
to
to
see what they're
see
doing
what they
next.
do with like an EP.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. So next on my list, I'm going to change the tune a tiny bit. I'm going to go for some good old depressing black metal with Lipa Schlaf. I think so. I think that's how you say
Schlaf.
it. Schlaf. Yep. No, I was up to obviously seeing what's coming out recently. This was like quite a talked about one in terms of like the black metal world. And honestly, it set the bar pretty high. Like it's very atmospheric. Like I enjoyed the whole album. Very dark, very gloomy. And the song in particular, I love the tremolo picking in it because instead of like just like fast blast beats and then tremolo picking like just going as it usually does, they sort of like slow things down and like it's just like a melodic harmonic tremolo picking section. And I think that really adds to it. It really takes you away and don't have a sleep talking situation. Um but yeah, proper takes you away, very immersive album, very immersive song. And yeah, I like the way it starts as well. You've got that sort of acoustic monotone section at the start, and it slowly builds into this like almost epic and grandeur section in the middle. So yeah, no, amazing band. I think they've definitely set the bar high for black metal.
Oh yeah, definitely. It reminded me a lot of what's the band? Patushka.
Yeah,
Reminded me a lot of Patushka. It was a very relaxing listen. Like
yeah, enjoyable.
it wasn't like, like your standard black metal. It reminded me a lot, actually, of like Batushka meets Mo.
Yeah, I see them all influenced
They're
for sure.
like with the clean fucking hell, what have I done there? Shook the entire desk. But yeah, like with the clean singing in it, that's really nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's not like you just standard like like blast beats. It's just I love how like black metal sort of transformed into it can be anything.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah,
absolutely.
that really it does really bring that theme of it. It's just a nice listen. It's not like but go burn a church. It's like, hey, why don't you just sit down
Be
for a
depressed.
second? Yeah, sit down for a second, mate.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about it. It's nice to sort of put on, relax. Even though like the content might be dark, it's sort of got that,
Yeah, it didn't have
therapeutic
that.
vibe to it.
It had a dark feel to it, but it didn't feel like it was dwelling on it. It felt like a positive
Yeah,
sort of dark. Do you know what I mean?
tranquil.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely loved it. What's next for you?
All right. Well, mine's switching it up. We've had hardcore kids do death metal. Now we're having hardcore kids do death, but do hardcore.
Hardcore
Um,
kids do hardcore. Yeah.
hardcore kids do hardcore. Volume one. Um, you know, um, their next one is End It. Familia Finito. You know where I be at, so bring it to me, whore. These guys don't fucking miss. These guys, honestly, they're having a fucking moment in the hardcore scene. Like every fucking thing they do is just like hard instantly. Like it's you know what you're getting with End It. I feel like they're not like they're not like one of those people one of those bands where they go, here's an album completely different to what we've done, or here's a track completely different. You know what you're getting. It's straight up punk hardcore. But that's why I like it. But what I like about it, yeah, I mean, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're just making a very solid version of the wheel, and
Yeah.
that's what's prevalent in this track.
Seems like guys are like proper fans of hardcore, like its roots as well. Like you can tell that they were very heavily influenced by like Agnostic Front and shit like that. I love how aggressive it is. It's just like 1 minute of just pure aggression, doesn't stop for a moment to breathe. It just punches you in the face and fucks off within a minute.
Yeah, and it just says finito, That's a fucking awful pun. That's not even funny. No, it honestly, I really enjoyed it. Like again, I really hope this is them rearing up to do like an EP because they dropped an album or an EP. Was it an album or an EP? I feel like it was an EP. They dropped one last year. That was on my fucking like top tens of the year. Do you know what I mean? Like I really got into them, and I really think that if they do it again, they can definitely do it again. Um, I honestly love this band at this point because you know what you're getting. Says what it has on the tin. You don't like it, it's obviously not for you. But and that's why I like the guys. They're very just like we're classic punk hardcore band.
Yeah,
What do you more do you
exactly.
need?
And then I like how it's got some sort of like, it's got some bounce to it, I mean, you can definitely get down to it for sure because of that like mid-tempo. That's what I like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I imagine that they put on a good show, not gonna lie.
they do. You should have come. You didn't fucking come.
Sometime. So many shows, fucking hell. So last to me, a band that I'm a massive fan of, Periphery, and the song Wildfire. So this came out. Again, it's one of those things like with you and Obituary.
Slaps.
I had
Fucking
no
slaps.
idea. I had no idea it was fucking coming out. Like I didn't know they were even making music, but then that came out, and I was just like, right off the bat, coming in with the heavy shit. They've gonna get like up and down with like how heavy they want to take things. They had like episode 3 select difficulty, which is like sort of like more chill, but then there was some like pretty heavy hitters on the last album, like Church Burner.
Mm.
And they don't take themselves too seriously, you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember what the name of the new album is, but I'm pretty sure it's like Gent is not a genre or something, like something silly like that. But yeah, no, this fucking so good. Like, they're extremely technical, but I think they were almost like a great gateway into like that side of prog for me because they know when to turn it down and they managed to make it like progressive, but also like catchy.
Mm.
Some of the vocal laying down in this is absolutely brutal and insane, like the pitches that he goes to. And then he brings it back with like, a nice sort of melodic chorus that you can sing along to. But it's like what really interesting to me about this song is how it goes towards the end, because it gets towards the end and it sounds like Sims 1 lounge music or something.
Yeah,
Like I think they're happy to throw any sort of elements that they want into it. And it somehow always manages to work because it goes into the Sims lounge music, then it goes into like some jazz, and then a really heavy riff, and then it sounds at the end almost like some fucking opening to Indiana Jones or something, like some really epic closer. So yeah,
yeah.
really
I
interesting
thought
song.
that really all over the place, but really all right. Do you know what I mean? Like the intro, hard as fuck. And
Oh
then you
yeah.
get Sims lounge music at the end.
Yeah, then you get fucking Jurassic Park. It's fuck. Welcome to Jurassic Park. I was gonna fucking claim it. Yeah, super cool though.
The Jurassic World soundtrack brought to you by Periphery.
And that's like a
Um,
gent version of Jurassic Park.
Imagine that getting attacked by a T-Rex whilst listening to fucking Gent.
Yeah, instead of
I
roaring, it
should
just goes, That's pretty
fucking
good,
getting
though.
ripped apart by some raptors. It's like my sugars bleed plays in the distance.
Oh,
No,
man. But yeah, great
I
song.
really liked the track. It took me by surprise because I got into like I kind of did get a little bit into Periphery. When my tattoo artist is a massive fan of Periphery, and he puts quite a lot of the tracks on, in the studio, and we like obviously when he's tattooing. I was like, oh fucking hell, who are these? And he was like, oh, it's Periphery. So I asked if he could recommend a few songs, which he did. Liked what I heard. But they weren't one of those bands that I went back to, which is why when I heard they were releasing the new track, I had no fucking clue until we did this fucking podcast. I honestly didn't know until you
Now you
sent me
need
your
to go
list. I
back,
didn't
man.
know I didn't know Periphery had a fucking new song out.
And if you like this shit, you should listen to fucking Church Burner off the last album. That goes so
I
hard.
have I have listened to Church Burner.
Man.
That's one of the songs that we recommended, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought cracking song. Um,
Yeah. I think it's super interesting because they just throw a lot of shit into it and it just works. Like they mash it together. Things that you would not think, like, Sims, Gent, and fucking heavy metalcore together somehow comes out very nicely.
Yeah, but that's like Electric Callboy. Where it's
That is
like,
very true.
do you know what I mean? I have a name. I know we're going on a tangent, but I've got a name for Electric Callboy.
Go on.
Eurovision metalcore.
No, it absolutely is. It
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely is.
Like,
Well, they
fucking
wanted
is.
to be on Eurovision, which proves everything, doesn't
Which
it?
Germany? Why the fuck didn't you do that?
Isn't it?
You'd have won instantly,
I mean, your guy was all right this year, but I mean, fucking hell, nowhere compared to Electric Call. But imagine how much fun that would have been.
mate. It's an instant win.
Yes,
Instant win. You know, instant win. But yeah.
easily.
Anyway, Periphery.
Yeah.
Tracking. I really liked it. I thought, yeah, had a lot of elements, and it's one of those where because I listened to it before we did the podcast, because I got like a lift home and then I was cooking, so I had to like cram it all in. I found like sometimes I'd have to like skip ahead in the song so I could pick out key parts, and like there were bits where I'd skip and go, "The fuck did I
And it's always
actually
the same song.
miss?" Yeah, I was there like, "What the fuck did I miss?" So I'd have to skip it back and go, "I'm still lost."
Yeah.
Like it
No,
was really weird.
absolutely. But I think I really appreciate that in a song. Like, it doesn't always have to be like that. Sometimes I like it to be, just like one good thing throughout. But then sometimes I like a song that's going to surprise me and really take me off guard. And now this seems to be the year for bands just going like completely wild in that last 2 minutes. Same thing happened with Sleep Token in the summoning when the funk came out. I'm
Mm.
like, I'm like, who's like, whose idea is it to put these sections in? It's like, you know
It's the
what? Right,
remnants from
stop.
COVID.
Stop
It's
the
the
fucking riff.
remnants.
Stop the riff
Yeah.
for a second. Let's put some fucking Sims music in there. That's really what it's going to be the year of Sims metalcore.
It's
And
good. No, it's the. I think I've got fear. It's the remnants from COVID when they'd be like writing at home and like, I'm fucking sick of writing these like metalcore. Hang on a minute.
I'd like to imagine that it's a bit different to that, but kind of the same. So they've got like some kind of home studio and they're writing riffs and they're all kind of together in someone's bedroom. And then someone's left Sims on in the background and they're like, can you turn Sims on? I was like, wait 1 second. And then
Yeah.
it comes to
That's
that.
fire. That's
Yeah.
fire. Get in the booth.
Like,
Get
fuck
in the
yes.
booth.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been our picks for jam bangers. Honestly, great fucking start to the year. I can't wait to see what February is going to be. I'm sure there's going to be some
Watch it
more
be dead
interesting
now that we've
songs.
said that. Watch
Yeah,
it be
imagine,
dead.
imagine, yeah. It's
So,
really shit
guys, we've
albums.
decided to skip February bangers. It's just kind of been a letdown, if I'm honest.
I mean, we skipped months for last because we forgot.
Yeah, no, we didn't forget, Brad. We just got busy
We just got busy doing good shit,
providing, good interviews
great
to our
content.
listeners, to our one listener. Hiya, Fred, how
Exactly.
you doing?
Hope you enjoy. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this one, Fred. Enjoy the Sims music. But yeah, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you want to see us doing what we're doing. Check us out on Patreon, and of course, check us out on social media, except for Twitter. That's Headbangers Pod One. The rest is Headbangers Podcast. So yeah,
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed. Check out all the tracks. I know it's very death metal heavy, but I'm sure if you listen to us, we do speak a lot about death metal. So go listen to them.
Mhm. I like to imagine after I just said that,
Go on.
that there is actually a fan that we've got out there that listens, but called Fred.
Imagine if he
So
unsubscribes now.
when he listens to this, he's like, talking to me. But yeah, no, anyway.
So they've
Anyway.
him dropped me.
So, oh shit. Oh, they've been they must have noticed me liking the tweets. Oh,
So he's actually like our biggest fan. It's got like
yeah,
framed pictures of us and everything.
yeah, on a dartboard.
But yeah,
Love hates us.
but yeah,
I
thank you so
scratched
much for
out.
watching. And yeah, tune in for next episode.